Okay, without much further, allow me to introduce the U.S. Ambassador to the Philippines, His Excellency Philip S. Goldberg.
This is my lucky day. I get to follow a motivational speaker. What luck. And I'm the only thing that stands between you and lunch. So I'll try to be short. But I want to also thank everyone for participating in this unprecedented gathering of leaders of Philippine academia. I want to say that I'm very honored to be asked to be here. These are very exciting times for the Philippines. And you may ask, what is the American ambassador with only a bachelor's degree doing here in front of people, I'm sure, with so many advanced degrees I couldn't count them? Well, the reason is we share many, many values in common, very many interests in common. I've been able to witness, since I've been in the Philippines over the last 9 months, many of the positive changes that are taking place. And many of these things are of interest in higher education, and they're of interest to the United States government, but more importantly to the Philippines and the people of the Philippines. A buoyant economy marked by sustained GDP growth rates, credit rating upgrades, and the hosting of the recent World Economic Forum are just some examples of how there's a new dynamism in the economy. Good governance is being stressed, trying to fight and root out corruption, another important element of what's going on in the Philippines. And institutions of higher learning help shape the social, economic, political, and cultural fabric necessary to help further those goals. And it's higher education that is necessary to help inform the young people of the country and making that education more accessible so it can serve also to help sustain economic growth, help sustain progress in the country, help promote inclusivity is an important and noble effort underway to promote social and economic mobility for all. According to a study that was done by the Asian Development Bank, countries that have one additional year of education boost productivity and raise economic output by 3 to 6%. Those with a college degree have incomes that are as high as double compared to those without. Filipinos have long known this. Many families make great sacrifices to ensure that their children receive a university degree because they know of the advancement that can bring to the individual and the family. However, these potential earnings and productivity gains have not been consistently and fully realized in the Philippines, despite the ambition and the efforts of individuals. The issues you've all been tackling in the run-up to this summit constitute the largest obstacles to the Filipino graduate achieving their potential. So you've been covering and talking about these things, and that's where we have a very common interest. All of your work helps support what is a vision of the Philippine government and President Aquino to achieve inclusive growth. The Philippine Development Plan identifies inadequate levels of human development as one of the structural issues preventing that inclusive growth. So the PDP, the development plan, has identified human development as the key factor in achieving sustained and broad-based growth. The Philippine government has made massive investments in education, not seen in more than a decade. The 2015 budget, recently submitted to the Philippine Congress, shows significant increases in social expenditures, especially in education, which has doubled in the past 4 years. The U.S. government recognizes these efforts and supports the government of the Philippines in achieving those goals. And again, that's where we have this shared interest. In 2010, our Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton, then Secretary, and Secretary of Foreign Affairs, Albert Del Rosario, signed the Partnership for Growth, PFG, making the Philippines one of only 4 countries in the world to join this White House initiative. The PFG is a framework that seeks to deepen and strengthen the U.S. government engagement with the government of the Philippines to accelerate inclusive and resilient economic growth. Under the PFG, the U.S. and the Philippines have identified key areas where both our governments will work together to unlock the country's potential for growth. This includes strengthening human capacity through education. The U.S. and the Philippines have a long and shared history in higher education, and we're building on that. The Fulbright program, established in the Philippines in 1948, is the longest-running continuing Fulbright program in the entire world. Today, nearly 2,000 Filipinos proudly call themselves Fulbright alumni, and nearly 800 Americans have come to the Philippines under the Fulbright program to study, teach, and conduct research. Under the Hubert Humphrey Fellowship Program, which began in the Philippines in 1978, 109 Filipinos have been able to spend at least some of their studies at the best universities in the United States and pursue professional development while there. And the University of Hawaii's East-West Center has awarded 400 graduate and 2,000 non-degree grants to talented Filipinos in the spirit of promoting mutual understanding between the peoples of the Asia-Pacific. These are great programs, and they're managed by our binational Philippine-American Educational Foundation, which is also known as the Fulbright Commission in the Philippines. There are other exchange programs supported by the United States government that help strengthen U.S.-Philippine ties in higher education. For example, the International Visitor Leadership Program, the International Leaders in Education Program for high school teachers, and the Global Undergraduate Exchange Program for college students. These all offer opportunities to build cross-cultural knowledge. I'm certain that there are some Fulbright alumni here today, some Humphrey Fellows, East-West Center graduates, and those who've gone on international visitor leadership programs to the U.S. Filipino Fulbright students and Humphrey alumni enrich their institutions, I'm sure, when they return, with different perspectives on teaching and scholarship and an improved understanding of U.S. culture and society. With their expertise, many of our alumni also hold significant leadership positions in the government and private sectors, non-government organizations, the field of academe, and Philippine society throughout. So all of this means that we're active in promoting opportunities for post-secondary study in the United States because we firmly believe in the benefits of intercultural education and academic exchanges. I hope that you'll all encourage your students and your faculty to consider further study in the United States, and that you let them know that they can learn more about educational opportunities through our Education USA Advising Program that provides comprehensive and accurate information about higher education institutions in the U.S. We recognize that U.S. education has an economic component as well. Our higher education institutions rely greatly on the participation of international college students in their undergraduate and graduate programs. Their enrollment has a major impact not only at the universities, but to the economic well-being and diversity of the local community. So one of our biggest exports here is the education field. According to the International Institute of Education, over 800,000 foreign students attended U.S. colleges last school year alone. Of those, though, I hate to admit that only 3,000 students came from the Philippines. So we have an opportunity to do much, much more. And to that end, the commercial and public affairs sections of the embassy teamed up to organize a U.S. student fair in November 2012. 29 U.S. universities from across the country, large and small, liberal arts to state universities, came to the Philippines to promote their educational programs and facilities. Close to 400 students and parents attended. We want to do more of that and open up more opportunities for students to learn about what is available in the United States. Beyond the people-to-people and institutional exchanges the U.S. government is supporting, our systems to strengthen and to improve the regulatory environment in Philippine higher education. Through USAID, the U.S. government is investing close to 1.5 billion pesos over the next 5 years to improve outcomes in higher education by strengthening industry, academic connections, and improving the science, technology, and innovation ecosystem in the country. We support upgrading the qualifications of university faculty and the improving curriculum development. We also support greater access to education and labor market information and further strengthening the ties between U.S. and Philippine academic institutions through collaborative research. Earlier this year, President Obama made a similar effort. He convened a higher education summit at the White House. Around 140 key stakeholders, including college presidents representing more than 100 institutions, gathered at the summit to discuss the issue of improving access to American universities. What you have done today in coming together is extremely impressive. A gathering of the leaders of Philippine higher learning institutions of this size to seek a common platform for action for higher education reform in the country is truly remarkable. You've all come here through your own will with no incentive other than your concern for the Philippines, its future, for its students, and for higher education. Because the challenges are great, everyone here has a critical role to play. I'm certain that your collective efforts will be positive and prove to be a force to improve the quality of Philippine higher education. The foundations that you will lay here today, beginning with the Manila Declaration, will become key elements in reforming higher education in the country. That's a pretty heavy responsibility. Crafting a unified agenda and having a common vision to address each of the 7 agenda items you have identified is an achievement in itself. I'd like to take this opportunity on behalf of the embassy, on behalf of my government, to congratulate the Philippine Business for Education and everyone here today. The U.S. government remains steadfast in its support for achieving the vision of a more relevant and globally competitive education system in the Philippines. We support efforts in ensuring that higher education will serve as a key driver of sustained, broad-based, and inclusive growth. If you think of those concepts, sustainability, broadening the base of availability of education, and thereby creating more inclusivity in society, those concepts are key to everything that has promoted the kind of economic and social dynamism that we see in the Philippines. So again, congratulations on your work. Thank you very much for listening. Maraming salamat po at mabuhay tayong lahat.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. Okay, lunch will be served in a bit. Let me just give you the instructions of where to go and what to do. First, you know, this coming together is important as an opportunity for you to meet new colleagues, because many times we meet each other only in the association conferences and only of our own association. So it's a good opportunity to meet a friend and reach out to another sector and get to know them more. Lunch will be served on the second floor, okay? And we will lock the doors so that you aren't tempted to go out and eat somewhere else. And we've been given instructions to shoot people who leave the door. So lunch is upstairs, second floor. Please be back by about 1. For those of you who need to retouch, okay, about 1:45. And so please be back in the room at 2 p.m. Okay, so again, a round of applause for our morning speakers. Thank you, and I will see you at 2 p.m. Have a good lunch.
Ladies and gentlemen, lunch will be served in meeting rooms 1 to 6 and 8 on the second floor. As you exit the lobby, please take the escalator on the right. This will take you directly to the lunch venues. Please be back here in this hall by 1:45 p.m. Once again, lunch will be served in meeting rooms 1 to 6 and 8, located on the second floor. Upon exiting the lobby, please take the escalator on your right. Please be back here in this hall by 1:45 p.m. Thank you. The President's Summit is brought to you by Philippine Business for Education and the United States Agency for International Development, in partnership with the British Council, Copylandia Office Systems Corporation, and with the support of